like to single out a few people today. Firstly, Dennis Kimball, who's been my nomination campaign manager. Thank you so much, Dennis. And Dennis, you thanked most of my campaign team, so I won't thank them again. Father Ruiz, thank you for letting us come here today and having the meeting. You've always been a great supporter. Thank you very much for that. So, and John Williams, of course. So, I got my first campaign in 1975 was with John Williams. That's how I got involved in the party. Well, how I got involved in the party was my father got involved in the party. He took on too much work, so he basically downloaded all the work on it. And then the rest came from there. I'd also like to, I know that Dennis recognized you, Councillor Crawford, budget chief's here today. I'm really grateful to have you here today. And Gary, I've got to tell you while I've got the chance, you'd better keep the tax rate at the rate of inflation. I don't think I need to pass a motion here, but this crowd here, watching. And my family's here. Firstly, my wife Colleen and my kids, they're here today. I couldn't do this without their support, and they've been great throughout this. I've also, my sisters are here, and I would be remiss if I wouldn't say my sister Patricia. So it is not very normal to have the head of a labor union attend a Toronto Catholic Teachers Union. It's fair to say that she's supportive of what Patrick Brown is doing. And when was the last time we were able to do this? It's a recognition, I think. It's a signal of. It shows us that we're on the right path when we have groups from all across the province representing all business, labor, you name it. We're getting all these groups together because of Patrick and what he's offering and the platform he's presenting. So thank you. Now, if only during the election, if you can get a few volunteers my way, we're going to need a lot of volunteers. So, I'm really grateful for the confidence you've put in me, and I look forward to improving the future for members of our community by serving them as a member of Patrick Brown's government. Our community means everything to me. This is my home, and I care about it deeply. I grew up here in a house not far from where we are now. And actually, there's one other person who I'd like to recognize who's not here, and it's my mom. So my mom's now, she couldn't come to the meetings, she's in the seniors' home, but my mom played a big role. She's been involved in every single campaign, and we grew up on Broadlands, and she played a big role. Yeah. So I went to school at Senator O'Connor. Colleen and I live here in one of the great neighborhoods of Don Valley East with our 3 kids. There's Sally over there, and there's Aaron, and there's little Samuel over there. So that's one of the reasons why over 20 years ago I embarked on a career of public service as a representative in North York, then the City of Toronto, and now I have the honor of serving you as the Deputy Mayor. One of the other reasons was to honor the very valuable instruction I received from my parents about the importance of making a contribution. How service to others was the root of one's character and the basis for living a decent and meaningful life. My mother trained initially as a nurse and was the anchor of the family. My father, after whom I was named, was a teacher and a school principal just down the street at St. Bonaventure's. Also, Patrick's mom was a teacher at St. Bonaventure, principal at St. Bonaventure. Both were active progressive conservatives in the Bill Davis Big Tech role. They exemplified to me and my sisters how one could have strong principles and still be compassionate. That image of service to others and caring for others has animated me all my life, and the steps I'm taking today is an extension of what I learned growing up here. It's a logical and authentic step, given that I, too, am a parent and a servant of the public, whose spouse is also the anchor of my family and also my life. It's three pillars: public service and compassion. But I want to build a better future for my kids and for yours. It's about doing what's needed now to get the future right. Through more than 2 decades of work for people in our community, I've come to know what our neighbors care about and what is needed most to make a difference in their lives. Right now, they need hope. Hope that there are some smart people around Kathleen Wynne that are able to keep the government running despite them. Hope that Ontario will be a province of opportunity for our kids, rather than a hollowed-out shell where the only growth industry is government. Hope that in these times there is still some understanding of and respect for the struggles that people in our community go through to earn a living. That should translate into a greater respect for the taxes that are collected, but it doesn't seem to work that way. We are all still incredulous over the Liberals' waste of almost $1 billion of our money on a reckless gamble to win a provincial election a few years ago. Kathleen Wynne was in cabinet when that decision was made, but has worked hard to distance herself from it. She wants us to absolve her of any responsibility for that disastrous decision, one we're still paying for. That's just one example of the kind of government the Liberals think Ontarians are entitled to. I say we deserve better, and there's a lot of work for us to do now. If all goes well here and across ridings in Ontario, our future will be in good hands. Those of the man I expect will be our next Premier, Patrick Brown. Patrick has been a good friend of mine for more than 20 years. And I can tell you, as someone who's known him for a very long time, that there's a straight line running from him to PC premiers like Bill Davis. You know, he has that DNA. He's inclusive, he's optimistic, he's a consensus maker, and he remembers his roots. There is none of the entitlement mentality, arrogance, or simple lack of governing skills that are defining features of the Kathleen Wynne era. This is a person whose values anchor him in reality, and whose work ethic is legendary. Within our party, he has spearheaded initiatives that have seen our membership grow by 1,500% and more than double the amount of funds we needed to raise. Imagine what we can do when his kind of energy is focused on turning the province and its government around. Imagine what happens when we believe in Ontario's best days lie ahead of us instead of in the past. Imagine what happens when we begin to rebuild our infrastructure so that it becomes a source of economic advantage rather than of embarrassment. Imagine what happens when we bring a fresh look to the complex problems facing every city in Ontario, such as transportation. In fact, the most important job of a future premier is to get things moving. Bring new ideas into places that need to clean out stale thinking. Bring better judgment to the decisions that matter. Bring fresh hope into the hearts and minds of the people of Ontario, people who deserve to be served by the government, but far too often feel as if they've been just ruled by it. This is important. Patrick has signed his name to a list of commitments, the People's Guarantee, that makes it clear to everyone just what a Patrick Brown government will deliver. And I'm proud to sign along with him and to stand with him in the campaign to come. My friends, I've had the privilege of giving the better part of my adult life to public service in Toronto. And in so doing, I've accumulated a track record of which I'm proud. Inspired by Bill Davis, I joined the Progressive Conservative Party in the 1970s to make Ontario a better place to be. And I've remained loyal to our party and its values through good times and not so good times. I'm excited and I'm enthusiastic about taking a message of hope to the people of our community, and to engage our current MPP, Michael Cocho, in a respectful campaign about the issues that matter to everyone's future. I say respectful because that is a core value of how we behave as progressive conservatives. I know Michael, and I will tell you that he's a nice guy, but Michael can't do what's necessary. His leader, Kathleen Wynne, just doesn't have what it takes to provide the strong and focused leadership that we need. But I know someone who does. Someone who will get the job done. Who gets results without surprises or the slow drip of serial underperformance. Who will put the Ontario government back in the service of Ontarians. I can't wait to be your voice in Queen's Park. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a cliche, but instead a prediction. Please welcome the next Premier of Ontario, my friend, Patrick Brown.
Journey here of public service in Don Valley East. You can't get a more exciting candidate. You can't get someone with a greater track record of public service. Elected since 1994, he has been devoted to Don Valley East, and I've been proud to call Denzil a friend for over 2 decades. You look at the team we're building, and it's an exceptional one. When you look at a team, very much like a hockey team, the captain of a team wants to put forward the best possible line. And you look at the people that the Progressive Conservative Party has been attracting, it just makes me so excited. You look at Rod Phillips in Ajax, Peter Bethlen-Falvey in Pickering, who actually downgraded Ontario's credit rating when he was the co-president of DBRS. Normally, I'm not a fan of the children of prime ministers entering politics, but in York Simcoe, I make an exception. I'm proud to have Caroline Maroney running for us. But today is special because when I look at Denzil, he's such a great addition to our team. He's been a defender of taxpayers in the City of Toronto, an advocate for families, someone who understands the City of Toronto so well, and the addition that he's going to make to our team is going to be invaluable. So that's why I'm here today. I haven't attended many nominations in the province of Ontario, but I wanted to be here because Denzil is an absolute star. And I just wanted to be here today to say the Ontario PC Party is fortunate to have your partnership on It is great to have your sister here today as well. My mother is a retired Catholic school teacher and was one of the big fans of Patricia's work on behalf of teachers. So welcome to our meeting here today, and hopefully we'll see lots of educators campaigning for you here in Don Valley East. Just a few nights ago, I was speaking to former Premier Davis, and his mentorship has been something that I've counted on. He's a source of advice, and to have a legend like Dennis Timbrell here, to have John Williams here, we're grateful for the guidance and support that you've given Denzil. It's an exciting time to be a progressive conservative. As Denzil mentioned, we have gone to extraordinary new heights when it comes to membership. 3 years ago, we had 12,000 party members, and today we have over 200,000 and counting. And it is a membership that is disproportionately diverse, disproportionately young, all great traits for our party to have. But you look at the growth in the City of Toronto, it's quite extraordinary. We have more members now in Scarborough than we had an entire province 3 years ago. We have more members in Mississauga than we did in the entire province 3 years ago. And why are so many people joining the party? Denzil mentioned the fundraising tally, the fact that we out fundraised both in the number of contributors and the total, both the Liberals and the NDP. Why are so many people saying, I want to get involved? Is because they know our province can do better. Now you look at our great province, we're a have-not province right now. If you had asked Bill Davis years ago if Newfoundland would be contributing equalization payments to subsidize Ontario, he would have laughed at you. But we're a have-not province today. Our credit's been downgraded 3 times, and for the first, see, even the children here are upset. For the first time in my lifetime, Ontario's credit rating is worse than Quebec's. We've lost 350,000 manufacturing jobs, and we have to turn this around. But it's one thing to criticize the government. It's another thing to articulate what you want to do, about what we aspire to do in government. And that's why I was so proud in November to launch our platform, to launch People's Guarantee. It's 147 commitments of exactly what we would do if we have the honor to serve the people of Ontario. And it's a recipe to get our province back on track, to make Ontario that job-creating engine that we know we can be. And I wanted to highlight a few of the commitments we've made that's going to make life easier for you here in the city of Toronto, in Don Valley East. You know, the first big commitment in our People's Guarantee is a tax cut for the middle class, a 22.5% tax cut for middle class families. Wages have stagnated in Ontario for 15 years, and it's time you get a raise. You know, another big commitment in our People's Guarantee is help on childcare. In fact, right now, childcare costs are skyrocketing, and in the city of Toronto, for a family with young kids, the cost is prohibitive. The average cost of childcare in Toronto is $20,000 a year. And our plan is not only going to create new spaces, but it's going to give families a refund of up to 75%. We're going to make it easier for families to afford childcare in the province of Ontario. And we made a commitment on hydro. I know there is a topic that we hear a fair bit about across the province of Ontario. Everyone knows we have among the highest hydro rates in North America. And in the People's Guarantee, we're going to cut hydro bills by 12%, on average of 12%. And not borrowing like the Liberals did, we're actually making structural changes that will last beyond an election cycle, that will give you real relief on your hydro bill. You know, in the People's Guarantee, we also made a commitment, one that I'm very proud of, on mental health. We're going to make the largest investment in mental health in Canadian provincial history, $1.9 billion. Healthcare budget will spend on mental health. Despite all the talk, all the rhetoric, years later, we now spend 6%. And I know you get Liberal ministers tweeting during Bell Let's Talk Month, you know, have the courage to come forward. But how dare they tell people to come forward and seek help while cutting services? You know, the wait times are longer than they've ever been. The wait times for public counseling right now in Ontario, for a young person who has the courage to come forward and ask for help, the wait time is 18 months. I talk to families in the city of Toronto where a loved one has had the courage to come forward and ask for help, and in the period that they've been waiting for help, they've taken their own lives. There are families that have had their lives hit by a train, essentially, because we don't have the actual network of treatment available and help available when it comes to mental health. And I'm so proud that our platform addresses that. And another big commitment in the People's Guarantee is to bring in the first ever Trust, Integrity, and Accountability Act in our provincial legislature. Now, I think a few people have recognized that our great friend, a good friend of mine, and always a great source of advice, the Honourable John Baird is here in support of Denzil. In Ottawa, there is rules that you just expect every legislature would have. in the wake of the sponsorship scandal, when there was political corruption in Ottawa, when John became a senior minister in the Conservative government, he was tasked with the responsibility of writing the Accountability Act. And there was strict ethical guidelines in Ottawa, and that was due to the work of John Baird. But when I entered provincial politics, I was shocked to see those same rules didn't exist. There was a revolving door between lobbyists and those working for the government. There was cash for access like we'd never seen before. Let me give you an example. You know, everyone knows we overpaid, according to the Auditor General, by $9.2 billion on renewable energy. Well, 30 of those companies then donated $1.3 million to the Ontario Liberal Party. You look at the lobbying loophole, you look what happened with Tesla, where there's a preferential policy announced by the government, where if you're buying a Tesla, you can get a $12,000 rebate. If you can afford a six-figure car, you probably don't need a $12,000 rebate. And people were scratching their heads, and then surprise, surprise, shortly thereafter, the Chief of Staff to the Minister of the Environment and Climate Change then goes and works for Tesla. That loophole, that revolving door, would never be allowed in the government of Canada. It wouldn't be allowed in other legislatures, but these loopholes, these ethical loopholes, exist at Queen's Park. And no wonder it results in bad policy that makes you scratch your head. And that's why we've been very clear in our People's Guarantee that we're going to close all those loopholes. Those loopholes that the Liberals have been driving a truck through, we're going to shut that down with our first ever trust integrity. And there are 147 commitments like that to get Ontario back on track. But as I go around the province, and I ask for good ideas, as our team asks for great ideas to get our province back on track, we heard a lot of folks who are skeptical. Skeptical about politicians in general, and rightfully so. Everyone remembers, John, you would well too, Dalton McGuinty campaigning, saying he wasn't going to raise taxes, and then the first thing he does is raise taxes. Everyone remembers Kathleen Wynne at the last election saying she was going to cut your auto insurance rates by 15%. Then when it turned out that they didn't do that, and it was an absolute failure, Kathleen Wynne said, well, it wasn't really a promise, it was a stretch goal. They invent terms to explain why they break their promises. So I get why people are skeptical of platforms. Platforms are merely the words of politicians, so we wanted to go one further. We're putting our name, we're putting our jobs on the line to say we're going to get this done for the people of Ontario. At our party convention, we signed a contract with the people of Ontario that said if we don't get this done for the people of Ontario in the first term of a progressive Conservative government, that I would resign as Premier. We're not going to let you down. Ontario needs real relief, and that's why the People's Guarantee isn't simply a promise, isn't simply a platform, it's a contract with the people of Ontario that you can depend on. And that's why I'm so excited about our People's Guarantee. But to make sure we're able to implement this agenda, to get Ontario back on track, we need Denzil elected at Queen's Park. And there's one thing that I want to highlight here today, is you can't underestimate the Liberal Party. You can't underestimate Kathleen Wynne's campaign team. They will say anything. They will do anything to cling to power. You saw that yesterday with the criminal verdict. $1 billion down the drain simply to cling to a single seat. They will say anything. They will spend anything. They'll use your money too. It's not just the gas plants where we saw that. Look at advertising right now. They're spending $57 million a year on ads that the Auditor General has said are partisan vanity ads. They're using your money to campaign, which means we have to work harder to overcome them. And I know we've got an energized team. I've seen it. You know, Scarborough Rouge River, we had a by-election there in one of the safest Liberal seats in the city of Toronto. And we had a candidate at the tender age of 79, Raymond Cho, who went and door knocked day in and day out, and we won that by-election. But he did not rest. By the way, you know, Raymond Cho was a Toronto City Councilor. Toronto City Councilors can make some pretty good MPPs. You know, I look at Sault Ste. Marie. I look at Ross Romano, who was our candidate there, in a riding that we had not held since I was 2 years old. And he door knocked in the middle of winter, in a community that gets a little cold in the winter. He was asking for snowbank signs, but he did not relent, and we won that by-election, which was an important breakthrough in Northern Ontario. So what I'm saying to you is I need you to work hard to get Denzil to Queen's Park. I need you to work hard to knock on doors. Given the fact they will say anything and do anything to cling to power, we have to work hard. We need to take our message. We need to take the People's Guarantee to every single door in Don Valley East to talk about how our platform will make life easier for families, how we're going to make it easier for our small businesses to succeed, to hire again, invest again, and grow again, how we need an MPP of the caliber of Denzil Minnan-wong at Queen's Park, how he won't let down the province of Ontario, how he won't let down Don Valley East. So on that note, let's do everything we can to elect this man as our next MPP. Thank you so much for being here today.
Well, you know, I have a good relationship with the residents in my area. They know what my record is, keeping taxes down, and working for the community. And I think bringing that record to the voters, that will help us get elected, along with Patrick Brown's People's Guarantee. You know, in terms of keeping taxes down, reducing taxes for the middle class is substantial. We've got a lot of seniors in my area, and the idea of having programs for mental programs for seniors, for young families who are struggling to pay for daycare, I know that it's going to be very compelling what Patrick Brown and the PCs are offering. So I think the platform, as well as my experience and my record, is going to be very helpful in the run.
If you were elected, how do you think your relationship would work with John Tory?
John and I have an excellent relationship, and I think it's really important for the province to have a good relationship with the city's mayor. And so John Tory and I go back 30 years. We work together at council, and I think that can help us work together to build a better city.
So are you handpicked by Patrick Brown?
Pardon me?
Are you handpicked by Patrick Brown?
No. Well, look, I mean, I was picked today by the people here in my riding association. And so it was an arrangement where the people in this riding association selected me to represent them.
Why did it take you so long to move up the...
But I would just add, I think it's pretty clear that Denzil is a star candidate. At any point you can have the deputy mayor of the largest city in Canada running for your team. It's good news. And I've always encouraged Denzil to think about this, but I think it was a decision he had to make with his family, with his constituents. And the fact that I'm at the nomination today is because I think this is a major boost to the progressive conservatives in the city of Toronto, and I think he's going to be a great defender of the taxpayers across Ontario.
So, why did it take so long to move up your political career? You mean that you like Patrick Brown, or?
I love working for the city of Toronto. I think there's a lot of work to do, but there's, I was looking at what was going on in the province, and I thought it was time to try and make a change for the province, and I thought Patrick Brown, he's modern, he's moderate, he offers a great platform for the city, and I thought I wanted to be part of that, and I thought it would be great for the residents of Don Valley East.
You mentioned a 22% tax cut for middle class. Can you quantify who are middle class people? I think a lot of people think they are middle class.
So our tax cuts are going to help everyone. On average, for families with an income of less than $100,000, that's going to be 25% reduction in your provincial taxes.
For those families making between $100,000 and $200,000, there's going to be a 20% reduction. And for families with an income of over $200,000, it'll be a reduction of 7%. So everyone's going to benefit from our tax relief. Ending the years of mismanagement and waste of the Wynne Liberals is going to be the key to making sure that families will get relief. Whether it's relief on your taxes, whether it's help with childcare, whether it's investments on mental health, whether it's dealing with the gridlock in the city of Toronto. Our platform is one that I'm really excited about.
You say that you resign if you don't get things done in your first term. So why make you so much confidence?
Well, our platform is fully costed. We had the former Auditor General, Kevin Page, cost the numbers. Senior economist Kevin Milligan said that it's fully measured and reasonable. And that's why I wanted to make sure it wasn't simply a promise. I wanted to put my job on the line. Because I think folks are sick and tired of politicians making promises and then breaking them. I wanted to be more than mere words. I wanted to put our job on the line and say we're going to get this done for the people of Ontario.
Patrick, I'm wondering how concerned you are about federal prosecutors being brought in on the investigation into the nomination meeting in Hamilton West and Castor-Dundas.
The nomination meeting that we had there was there was an overabundance of excitement. I think the four candidates certainly were too eager and enthusiastic in their campaigns, and for that reason I brought in PwC, and the party has provided anything that the investigation was interested in. I can tell you, one of the challenges the party has faced is so many people wanting to run for the party, such a deluge of memberships that we've had to take increased scrutiny onto the nominations, and we're the first party to bring in PwC, and I hope other parties will bring in additional oversight as well.
If any members of the executive or party staff do happen to be charged, would you ask that they step down or suspend their positions?
Well, I'm certainly not going to get into hypotheticals. You can ask me if that ever happened, then I'd be happy to answer that, but I'm certainly not going to get into hypotheticals.
A lot of people mention your faith as a strong reason for you to be a strong candidate. What does that have to do with you becoming an MPP?
I've been a progressive conservative all my life. I think the platform is a very compelling reason to be part of the campaign, and I want to bring about change. I think the residents of the city of Toronto, in my area, they want change. They see what happened just yesterday with the conviction of Mr. Livingston. That's not the type of government that we want to have, and so I want to be part of that change. I want to be part of a Patrick Brown government. I want to be part of the People's Guarantee.
So a lot of politicians have health issues. Do you think you're physically fit for the MPP job? I asked the same question to John Tory.
We'll see. What I do know throughout the campaign is, I'll be getting fitter as every day goes by and every door that I knock on.
Okay,
Thank
you so much.
Not to belabor the
Good luck.